Hey everybody, and welcome back to Logged Into Life. Glenn here, and today I wanted to take the opportunity to tell you a little bit on my thoughts, my take on this pandemic that we are going through in the moment, and what coronavirus and this whole scenario has taught me about the world and the state of the world and where we're at. Um, Without any further ado, let's get into it. So I want to premise this video by saying that these are my opinions and my opinions alone. I do a lot of reading. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I watch a lot of news. I listen to a lot of things. And so what you're about to hear has developed from those bits of research, I suppose you could say, and are purely my thoughts and opinions. If you'd like to add some of your own thoughts and opinions, please feel free to do so and add a comment to this video. So let's go. I have come to the conclusion over a very long period of time that the world as a whole is generally pretty much driven by one thing, and that's greed. We have developed this monetary system around pretty much everything that we do, and it drives everything that we do. And I think that's really sad. But it's the world that we have, and to try and escape from that now would prove extremely difficult, just as an individual, and I think also as a society. The other thing is that I have learned is most people, on the whole, do the right thing. So obviously with the coronavirus, there's been a lot of restrictions, a lot of things that we can't do, being at home all the time, and for the most part, I think a lot of people do the right thing. The minority would be those that are, a bit more selfish, a bit more ignorant, and really only care about themselves. But I definitely think they are the smaller percentage, absolutely. From what I've seen here in Australia and around Brisbane, most people are doing the right thing. And I think at least trying to, take the right take the right steps and put the right things in place to ensure that we stay safe. Now, we as a society, through greed and religion and governments and many other things, have created also a world of boundaries. So we all live in countries, we all live in cities all over the world. We have all these boundaries that we have created for ourselves, both physically and on maps and economically as well. And it's very much changed how we live our lives. And as we're now seeing through this pandemic, we're having to change how we treat those boundaries and how we live our day-to-day lives. But the big thing with boundaries, and the reason I mention them, is that viruses don't see these boundaries, any of them, none of them whatsoever. It does not matter what race, creed, religion, what your beliefs are, what you do for a job, where you live, all completely irrelevant to a virus. And I think as a result of what we're learning from this pandemic, we need to greatly change how we live in the world, to better handle these scenarios and situations when they do come up. As I say, viruses, they don't see these boundaries and they don't discriminate. And if we don't work together and forget about these boundaries in the instances of things like viruses, then we will all, not just some of us, we will all suffer the consequences. Some more than others. So, yeah. Greed, I think, has also slowed our response time. When we first started shutting down Australia, the government very gingerly did things initially, and took step by step. Let's do this. Let's do the next bit. Let's do the next bit, and eventually we got there. But it was a slow process, and I think that we actually did the wrong thing, not only in Australia but in a lot of countries. And I think we actually should have shut down the country completely, internationally, right from the get-go. But that's a whole nother topic, and I've actually started looking at making another video to talk a little bit more about that one. So we'll get to that at another point in time. Another really interesting point that I'd like to make is, and it's been on the news here a few times, the changes in the environment while all this has been happening. So animals have been coming out a lot more with less humans around. Our air pollution over all the major cities around the world has decreased dramatically. And I think it really does prove what a difference we can make on the planet to the environment if we just work together. Now, admittedly, in this particular situation, we were forced to work together, I suppose you could say. But it really does highlight the effect and the impact that we can have and the change that we can make for the better of the planet and the better of everybody, all of us, animals included, that has to live here. In this modern world in which we live, we are hyperconnected, as they call it. So basically that means we have the ability to travel anywhere on the planet within sort of that 25-hour, 30-hour time frame. We can get to most places we want. We have the technology to talk to each other on the other side of the planet via video. We all know the technology that's out there and the sort of things that we can do to stay connected to each other these days. It's amazing. But that has also brought about its own set of issues, particularly with, for example, international travel. Once again, we didn't close down borders immediately. We let people into, our various countries. We didn't take the appropriate steps very quickly to prevent the spread of the disease. And so it basically went rife everywhere. Once again, as I said before, we should have just shut countries down. Bang. The first and most important thing should have been people's health, not the economy. Economies can recover. People who die can't. So, think about it like that for a moment. There has been a push in recent years from a steadily growing community of people who think we should be engaging in minimalism, in living more sustainably and more green for ourselves and for the planet. And I'm going to put my hand up and say, I'm part of that movement. I want to be more green, sustainable, and do better for my family and for those around me and for the planet. But we as a society are fundamentally flawed in how we do things. We are wasteful, we waste resources, we are using resources at an astronomical rate. Currently we're using about 1.7 planets worth of resources a year, and there is loads of information in the internet about that sort of thing. We here in Australia chew through a year's worth of resources in about 4 months flat, as a smallish population really of 25 million people, and that's just crazy. We're generating waste faster than the earth can get rid of it. We're creating pollution in the air faster than the earth can get rid of it, and not a lot of people seem to really give a crap. And I think that's really sad, because it's going to affect us later in life, but more importantly, it's going to affect our kids big time. So what sort of things can we do to fix it? Hey, I've heard the term circular economy. where you create goods that are created sustainably. They go into the system, you buy them, you use them. When you're finished with them, they come back to the manufacturer, who then pulls them apart and recycles them for you. And a really good example of a company doing this is Apple. I don't know any figures on how much they actually do recycle. The system is very dependent on, of course, people bringing those products back to the manufacturer for recycling. Um, you know, so a circular economy is definitely something we need to work towards as a society, I think. Another one is the mindset, and this is a big one. I think a lot of people around the world have the wrong mindset. We have the mindset of we need more things and we need more money and greed and all this sort of stuff. And it's this really, to me, that is leading to all the problems we have in the world. It's not just about climate change, and it's not just about sustainability or wasting resources or how much waste we produce. It's about everything together as a whole, and it's about our mindset about how we treat the planet and the things that we do. And so, in videos that are coming, I want to talk a lot more about our mindset as a society and how we can live better. We don't need a lot of things that society has convinced us that we think we do. It's a load of rubbish. And we can save ourselves a lot of time, stress and money in the process of not pursuing those things. The other thing too is, as a society and as people and individuals, we are very adaptable. We're really, really good at getting into situations and then suddenly deciding, okay, well, this isn't working what I'm doing, I need to change how I'm doing this, and so we adapt. And I think once again the coronavirus shows us that we are very good at that. People have substantially changed their lives to work around having to stay at home and not go anywhere. We have adapted, and I think if we adapt better to some of the other things in life, like how we think about things and the things we buy and all these sorts of things, if we adapt to some of these things better, we can do better for ourselves and the planet once again. Now, a lot of people view the world as, they think of themselves in the world as being the minority. I'm just me, I can't possibly do anything to change the world, and I think that's a load of rubbish. I don't think I'm doing enough to try and change the world, and that's why I'm here talking to you today. I want to do more of this to try and help show people that there is a way. And when you think about it, we are not the minority. Yes, okay, I'm an individual. I'm just me, and by myself I can't necessarily make a huge impact. But I can certainly pass on what I'm learning in my life to others and help them make an impact. The other thing too is, when you think about it, what is the greatest majority of people on the planet? Working class individuals who don't earn a huge amount of money, but we by far, and I don't know what the percentages are, but we by far immensely outnumber those who are governments, big corporations, and the like, that seem to have control of most of the world. We are the majority, and if we just would figure out how to work together, I think we can change the world better than any company or government ever will. Because what are companies and governments focused on? Their shareholders, their back pockets, the bottom line. They're not focused on everyday life, buying less, doing better for the environment, like we as individuals in the majority of the world are or can be. So I want to finish up by saying we can change the world. I really believe that. But we need to work together. We need to change some things. We need to share our experiences, our knowledge, but I really think we can do it. So I'm going to leave you with that thought about how you can change the world, how you can do things differently, how you can live your life differently on a daily basis to change your impact on the world, and your footprint on the planet. We can do better. We can be self-sufficient. We can be anti-consumerists. We can live sustainably. And together, if we do all those sorts of things and combine all those things together, I think we can change the direction that we are headed at the moment. Because to be honest, the direction this society and planet are heading in is not good. Not good at all. And if you look around on the internet and you read and you watch videos and you do some learning, you'll start to understand just how bad it really is. But also how many people are starting more and more to do things to change that. So that's it for me from now. I will be back again very soon with another video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have some comments or you want to leave your thoughts and ideas, please add them to the comments below. I look forward to reading them. You have a great day. My name's Glenn, and this is Logged Into Life.